Hey guys, it's Brad. Just making a quick video to explain to you all about chirality. It's a really uh, important background concept. Um, so the it's spelled Chirality. It derives from the Greek word for hand, which is chair or something like that. Um, and what it is the property of a pair of objects such that they're like mirror images of each other. They have the same like basic shape, but they can't be rotated to align perfectly or to like be in the same orientation in space in the dimensionality in question. Um, so chirality, like I said, it derives from the word hands, and the hands are the most common, most obvious example of chiral objects. You put them like this, and like they're like mirror images, like reflected in a plane. Um, and like however you rotate them, you can't have all your fingers and your thumb line up. Like you can't, you know. Um, so that's what defines right and left uh, in terms of the human body. Um, but in terms of other stuff too, I mean, there's many things that have chiral shapes. So what else do I have? Um, they're most commonly encountered, at least the word chirality or chiral for as the adjective, is most commonly applied to chemistry and medicine because a lot of molecules have chiral differences, and they sometimes it like affects how effective a drug is and stuff like that. So that's where I originally learned about this back in high school in chemistry class. Um, so a funny or interesting thing about chirality is that it's nullified immediately if you just have one additional dimension of space. Um, so I'll kind of describe a demonstration using two dimensions. So say instead of taking my hands like this, I laid them down on a piece of paper and traced around the outlines of them. Um, that they would no longer be chiral because I could very simply like fold a piece of paper in half and they would perfectly align, because I have access to the third spatial dimension, um, which is greater than those shapes, those objects. So like, and you'll hear this in just in discussions of like what's entailed by additional dimensions of space. Um, that like higher dimensional beings, or I say beings, but it sounds so wishy-washy. Like out there. I just mean operating from a higher dimensionality, one can very easily flip into a mirror image on any axis an object of a lower dimension. Um, I mean, assuming that you can actually manipulate it and have contact with it at all, but um, yeah, that's the idea. Um, so it only takes one additional dimension to uh, do that flip. So in fiveness, it would be trivial to flip our hands together like that. Um, a person, a foreigner's body is what I'm trying to say. Like, not because it wouldn't work with a fiveness person's body. Um, but I mean, I'm getting sort of ahead of myself, I guess. Um, okay, so I don't know if this is um, commonly called or grouped under the term chirality or not, but it is in my teaching, in my study. So I have identified that spins are chiral, kind of. So clockwise and counterclockwise. that distinction is based on the same um, underlying principle of chirality that physical objects are. Um, so, and I call them spin chiralities. So we have two spin chiralities here. Um, and there's, in any given dimension, the number of chiralities and spin chiralities is the same, but it's not always two, and that is um, something that took me a long time to figure out, and it'll take me a while to build up to showing that to you all. But in fiveness, there are three hands, three chiralities, three dimensions that are related like that. Um, and I call it left, right, and throughout is the name for the third hand. And as spins, I usually refer to them, I don't know, differently. I call it zero word, infinite word, and Christ word as corresponding to left, right, and throughout. Um, so those are um, sorry, I just I'm worried I'm getting ahead of myself like I keep doing of all these videos, but um, I just gotta keep going forward with it. This is supposed to be a short and sweet video, so probably edit out the silence. Um, so as an example to demonstrate, another I think very useful example to demonstrate the way that chirality is nullified by higher dimensions is using spin chirality. So picture like a train station with a big clock elevated on a pole in the middle of it, and it's a glass clock, and all that's on it are the numbers around the face of it the um, and the hands, but it's transparent. So like to someone who's viewing it from the intended angle, it'll be going clockwise, but if you view it from behind, it'll be going counterclockwise, even though it's a clock. So based on your point of view, relative to it, you have flipped its chirality. So yeah, I think that's all I need to say about this. It's really quite simple. Okay, good night.